Hey guys, welcome back into Legacy. So I want to hit a subject that I hear a lot from the YouTube space, but I hear a lot of it in online spaces. I just want to address it, and I'm going to try to do it without breaking my rules because I don't want to get into the drama around it. Don't want to get into the politics of it because that's not the point. The point of what I want to get at is the idea that people are. Sorry, I'm getting blown up. People are judging uh, companies and individuals' work based on that person's individual viewpoints on certain issues. And I'm going to explain how I kind of stand on it first, and then I'm going to explain why I kind of think it's a stupid thing to be involved with. So here's my view on it. Companies and that are made up of people, and people are entitled to their opinions. Um, I no more believe that a lot of people in the creative space, whether it be novels, movies, video games, RPGs, board games, share a lot of my personal views than the man in the moon. I think a lot of them are very much opposed to a lot of things I believe, which is fine. That's fine because they're people. The issue that I take is when those people take to the airwaves or to a blog or whatever to tell me how much they don't want my business. That's when it becomes a problem for me. If you hate the opposing side so much that you tell them you don't want your business, then I will acquiesce to you. You won't get my business. Congratulations. You just talked yourself out of a potential, consumer. That's my take on this whole issue. Why is it stupid to even have that debate? Is because plenty of things have been created in the world by people who you disagree with that are wonderfully made. Um, Plenty of people, for example, that are not Catholic, who are atheistic, enjoy Lord of the Rings. Plenty of people who are Christian conservatives have read Philip Pullman and enjoy his books. It's not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their personal opinions are because their art is beautiful, or at least to their fans it is. And that's kind of where I come down is if just because somebody holds a view that I may not agree with doesn't mean that their work automatically is going to be bad or be full of their work or full of their personal, political, social, moral opinions. They can have great work. I'll give you an example of somebody who I've read that I happen to know is politically different than me is E. Knight. And I super enjoy E. Knight's work. And we absolutely could never have a discussion on politics because it would just turn into a shouting match, especially online. But I don't care because E. Knight writes good books and he leaves his opinions kind of at the door. I mean, they're kind of subtly there, but it's never down your throat kind of forceful. And that's how a lot of these creatives are. They hold their views, they vote the way they want to vote, they believe what they want to believe, but they never try to tell you what you have to think through their work. You can pick up a lot of RPG books written by people who disagree with you. And like I said, I'm not going to get into all the politics because a lot of this is framed as a left versus right issue. But the reality is that two things. One, you have to settle the reality if you are a conservative person. Settle the reality the majority of people in the creative space are not conservative people. Uh, whatever reason, creatives tend to be moderate left at best. Most of them on the left, which is not a problem to me, but it is for some reason to certain people, especially perpetually online people. And it shouldn't be. It should not be an issue. You can enjoy great work from good people. And this is another point, too. Just because they're on the opposite side of the political aisle from you, whether you be left or right doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that they're bad people. Plenty of people exist on the opposing sides that are good people. There are good people that vote Democrat regularly. There are good people that vote Republican regularly. There are good people that are Christian, good people that are atheist, good people that are, black, good people that are white. The differences don't matter. And what we've done, what the online space has done, particularly, like I said, it's really bad on YouTube, but there's other places where it's bad. There's certain forums and stuff where it's bad too, where people have started saying, well, I won't ever buy from that company because so and so said such and such on my personal Twitter account. Well, who cares? Is it in the book? Okay, it's not in the book. Did they say that they don't want your business? No. Okay. then why are you punishing them for having a view? I mean, that's a legitimate question. Why are you punishing somebody for having a view you don't agree with? That's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to punish people for disagreeing with you. It doesn't matter what people think, guys. Just, I really wish the YouTube space would drop it. And like I said, and unfortunately, it is very much a right versus left issue. And I use that in that actual order for a reason, because I don't hear as many leftists doing that as I do conservative people, supposedly conservative people. A lot of the YouTube space is conservatives bitching about the latest dumb thing somebody who works for Wizards of the Coast said, or the latest dumb thing somebody from Paizo said, or whatever. Who cares, guys? And furthermore, this is an addendum to this, guys. Only you can determine your comfort level with purchasing from companies, but set idealistic, if you're going to set, criteria for buying from a company, make it realistic. Make it something that matters. Example, I don't kickstart any company that makes a lot of money. I won't kickstart Chaosium, for example, products when they were trying to kickstart stuff. I wouldn't do it. Chaosium makes enough money to produce their products. That's a criteria for me. And when people try to make it ideological, consistently ideological, when your criteria floats around your ideology and your political mindset, you're not doing anything to help kill the divide in the community anyways. Because there is a divide in the communities, like I said, particularly perpetually online, but it is a divide between, what people would consider conservative gamers or apolitical gamers. I would even argue apolitical. They get called conservatives because they don't care. And the more left wing people. And there's nothing to debate. We all enjoy the hobby. We all enjoy sitting at tables. We all enjoy the work being produced by certain companies. Conservatives and liberals like Free League. Conservatives and liberals like Modifius. There's conservatives and liberals, for God's sake, that like Wizards of the Coast. And all we've done by doing this litmus testing is further the divide by making people aware that we decide based on what people believe. And that makes you no better than the cancel culture mobs and all the other crap that's gone on the last 15 years. It makes you no better than those people. I mean, if you are putting an ideological litmus test on your purchases, guys, seriously, consider not doing it. Consider looking at games made by people you may not agree with. You may find that you really enjoy them. You may find that you really enjoy it. Or you may find, if you're not careful, you may find that a game you really like was written by somebody who is the polar opposite of you. I'm just going to use a name. Say you're playing Alternity, and it turns out that Bill Slavzik and Richard Baker are not necessarily hardcore right wingers, and you're a right wing guy, and you think you should only buy from people that are not uber leftist. Well, maybe they are uber leftist. I don't know. I don't know the personal politics. I'm not assuming anything. I'm just saying, what if you're playing Alternity and you found that out? Would you suddenly stop playing Alternity because now all of a sudden, oh my God, they're not like me? I mean, is that what you would do? And then it gets more complicated if you get into games that were originally foreign, like The One Ring is written by an Italian person. Fabula Ultima, written by an Italian guy. Anima was originally Spanish. A lot of Free League stuff was originally Swedish. So, I mean, once you start setting ideological boundaries around your purchases, guys, you are setting yourselves up, cut yourself off from a whole swath of the hobby that you shouldn't cut off. And by the way, I'm not saying that you shouldn't take some considerations, like I said, into effect. Like I said, my big one is if they have openly stated they don't want my business. Absolutely. Give them what they want. But guys, just please, I'm begging people, stop the nonsense about, well, that person's a bad person because he's on this side of the aisle or that side of the aisle or this side of this political issue or this side of the social issue, whatever. Who cares? Guys, they're people. They're entitled. They're allowed. I'm not going to judge them based on what they believe. I refuse. Now, I can judge them as a person and say I disagree with them as a person, but if they're producing good art, I'm going to support their art because their art is worth supporting. That's the end of the day. Is the art worth supporting? And you can follow the same line of thinking with people who do this with movies and TV shows and books and, like I said, board games, card games, anything. Well, that author is too far left for me. Okay, whatever. You know what? Get over it. Most authors are on the left, whether we like it or not. I mean, that's a generalization, but for whatever reason, the arts tend to draw people that are a little more moderate left than right wing. I don't. I've never read any studies or anything on it. I don't know the reasoning behind it. I don't know if anyone's ever done a study on it, but I know that if you run across a lot of creatives on social media and stuff, and you read their personal pages and stuff, they tend to be a little more, a little more left, a little more, moderate to left than the average American. The average American is apolitical, by the way, just so people know that. Only about 36% of this country is considered themselves conservative. About 36%, or no, it's not even that much. It's like 20% of this country consider themselves conservative. 20-something percent of this country consider themselves liberal, and the rest consider themselves moderate independent. I'm doing that without looking. You guys can look those numbers up and make sure I'm right, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on those numbers. It's like 24% consider themselves liberal, like 25 or 26% conservative, and then everyone else considers themselves moderate independent, which is a way of saying I'm apolitical. So, that being said, guys, I apologize for this kind of coming off political. It's not meant to be political because it's just a call for the idea that we need to stop from both ends. If you're on the left and you judge people on the right negatively, please stop. If you're on the right and you judge people on the left negatively, please stop. Just enjoy the games for what they are. They're games, guys. Most of them don't have a political slant. Most of them don't have politics involved. Most of these people don't bring their personal views into their work. You can have a lot of fun with games written by people you disagree with. You have a lot of fun watching movies produced by people you would hate in real life. Really, the term I'm going to use is suspension of belief. Guys, it's okay to like art by people who don't agree with you. And it's okay to dislike art by people who do agree with you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's conservatives that have designed games that are awful. And there's liberals that have designed games that are awesome. And I'm not going to sit there and I can't continue sitting there and watching and listening to people like, oh, I won't buy that game because that guy's woke. Well, first off, that word has lost all meaning in our society. But more so, it's just you're leaving something that you could possibly enjoy on the table because of an ideological difference with the person who created it. How do you know it's a bad game? Well, that guy's, but he has bad political views. Yeah, have you read the book? Well, no. Well, I have, and I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't have any of that in there, kind of thing. And I've done that to people. I do that to people when they fight me about, like, Larry Correa, for example. Very antagonistic, very, very conservative guy. If you post him in certain groups, you will get fights because people hate him. And then you'll be like, have you ever read his books? Well, no. Well, guess what? None of his politics really leak into his books. None of it. He tends to leave it at the door. A little bit of it leaks because I think it's unavoidable, but mostly he leaves it at the door. And people are like, well, I still hate him. Okay, hate him. Hate him all you want. Don't immediately dismiss his work as if it's bad because you don't like his politics. And you may still think it's bad after reading it. That's fine. But you should at least give him a chance to prove that he's not a hack. And like I said, you could say the same thing in the opposite way for the opposite side. There are liberal authors that get mentioned that get lambasted because they're so far in their personal beliefs that a lot of conservatives will bash them without ever having touched their books. And guys, it's stupid. It's a stupid way to live your life. Just when you're judging games, you're judging things from here on out, guys. Really, the best piece of advice I can give you: disconnect from the internet for a while when you're looking at getting into new things. Don't trust the internet because the internet is so full of people that are perpetually online that don't have the ability to realistically and unideologically look at things, because they're seeped in a world where everybody they live in echo chambers, and there's a lot of issues with it. Make your own decision. Read the books yourselves. Play the games yourselves. Pick up and watch the movie yourself. Don't trust everything that's said online about somebody or something or a company or whatever. Not everything said online is true. I know that's a shock. I think that's kind of the end goal. I think the TLDW for this video would be, guys, if you're going to judge products, judge them on the quality of the product, not the quality of the people involved. Unless there's a clear reason you should be judging it, because it's clear that the person involved has injected their personality into their personal beliefs and stuff into the product. Which case it kind of turns into propaganda, but that's a whole political argument that, like I said, I'm not going to dive into. Guys, hopefully this video opened your eyes a little bit to how I view gaming. I'm changing the way that I'm viewing gaming. I'm playing games written by people that I know I don't agree with. I'm playing games by companies that I don't personally agree with, because the games themselves are good. And if you don't like the company and you don't want to buy it, that's your business. But I really challenge you to check your reasoning behind why you're not buying from certain companies and stuff. Everyone falls into the trap from time to time, but realistically, I would argue that we really shouldn't. And if you really do enjoy the hobby, like I said, really take the time to check out what you're denying yourself based on, of non-objective criteria. I'd honestly argue that ideological criteria is non-objective. But anyways, guys, this is probably the only video that I'm like this, because this is just something that sat poorly with me for a while as I've kind of started adjusting how I view gaming and stuff. And I just wanted to put it out there and let you guys know how I feel about it and see how you guys feel about it. I mean, by all means, tell me, that I'm wrong. Do a video response if you think I'm wrong and explain why I'm wrong. And I'll be happy. I'll be happy to interact with that, because the truth is guys, you can't leave stuff on the table just because somebody has the wrong beliefs. You shouldn't leave stuff on the table because you don't like something. But anyways, leave thoughts, comments, questions, concerns below, as always. And as always, we hope you guys have fun. We do hope to see you guys around the gaming table at some point.